Hi, it's Melanie. It's been about a week since we've been out of school, and I'm sure by now you've noticed that you and your toddler both use a little bit of space. So this week we are talking about forts, how you can make a little space for your little person. We are going to talk about different kinds of forts that you guys can use. You can try to make these with your, if you have a 2.5, 3-year-old, you can make these together. You could just use this as a project together or give them the stuff and say, hey, would you like to make a fort? Let them take the lead and scaffold when you need to. I always say do the least amount necessary so that they're doing the problem solving, they're doing the discovering, they're doing the engineering of the fort. If you have a smaller person, a 1-year-old, an 18-month-old, an early 2, then maybe you set up the fort in advance for them, and then they get to play in the fort however they would like to. So a couple of forts that we've come up with. The first one is just a ready-made. We already had this. It's a pop tent fort. And it's really light and it's really portable, it's really small, good for a tiny person, and you can move it from place to place. But if you don't have a ready-made fort, you can make your own. The easiest kind of fort to make, I think, is the sheet or the blanket over the table fort with just a couple of chairs and some sheets and blankets. Now you need to put stuff on top to make sure the sheets don't fall off. Be sure you don't use like Aunt Bertha's best vase or something heavy, something breakable, something that's going to hurt the child if they pull it over on them. We used a couple of books, we used a couple of clothespins, and then the great thing about this one is it's nice and it's a good size, and you can get some pillows in there, you put their books in there, give them a flashlight, and they will stay in there and look at pictures, and it's just a wonderful, fun time for them. The problem with that one is it's a little too good and you may not get your dining room table back for a few days. Another kind of fort that you can make is a pillow fort. This is a really snuggly little fort. It's generally not as big as the other one. We made this one with just the sofa cushions and some pillows, and you can snuggle and read in that little spot. Another fort we have is the box fort. Now we have these little cardboard boxes that are painted to look like bricks, but if you don't have those, just raid your recycling and bring out your old boxes and your child can make it with that. This is a really great fort for our little friends who are into engineering and building and stacking, and they can make these kind of forts themselves with just the boxes out of your recycling if you just hang on to them for a while. Also, a little tip, if they build things and they fall down, my response is always, oh, you can build it again. And maybe, if they're having a hard time, I'll say, maybe we'll make it better this time. How can we make it stay up this time? Or something like that. But I always go with the positive of, oh, we can build it again. So that the crashing of it is not such a huge sadness. Also, sometimes they just build them to knock them down, which is also a great activity for your little toddler. It doesn't have to end up into a fort if they'd rather just build the walls and then crash into them and knock them down. That's a fun activity too. Also, if you can get outside, we're, I think, getting to the end of our reign in Los Angeles. If you can get outside and make a fort, it's a great way to encourage your child to spend more time outside. We used our trees outside with a few scarves to set up a nice little area that had some stumps as a table. If you don't have all that stuff, that's fine too. You can just pull together a couple of lawn chairs and a blanket or two or a tablecloth and use that to make a tiny little fort outside. Remember, your person is little, so they don't need that much space to have something that's just their size. I hope these ideas were helpful to you and that you're able to make a nice little space for your person, your little person. And look, next week, I believe we're going to be talking about dress-up play next week. So look forward to talking to you then. Hope everyone is safe and healthy and happy. Thank you.